Hello and welcome to the Mal&Johnny Show. We took a week off last week because Johnny Tudor went on his holidays. Where did you go?
That's right. We went to Mallorca.
Oh, was it good?
Went to Mallorca with all the family. I took the grandchildren, my daughter, son-in-law, mother-in-law and father-in-law of my daughter, and Emily Squires came with us.
Oh, Emily came as well. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
So we had 9 of us. So we had a nice apart hotel.
Yeah.
In Mallorca. It was really nice.
And what was the weather like? Because while you were away, just in case you missed it, we had a heat wave. It was like being in Granada. How hot was it where you were?
It was 35 every day, so 35. It was rather hot.
Oh, that's quite cool for Mumbles. 35.
Yeah, you had 38 last
38,
week.
I know, it's unbelievable, Johnny. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Is this the sort of thing you've always done? Because I was trying to think. Obviously, you were growing up on the road, weren't you? I mean, and a mum and dad bought a pub eventually. Did you manage to go on family holidays as a kid?
Well, not really. I'd be like for summer season, I'd probably be in Weymouth for the whole summer because Dad would be in a show. See,
right.
So that was really like a holiday. I went to school in these different places, but the first real holiday I think I went on, we used to go back to Weymouth, where my father had a lot of thought about because he'd done the summer season, liked the place. So whenever he had a break, we used to go to Weymouth because in those days when I was a kid, nobody flew off to Spain. No. I mean, it was one of those things. I think the first time I went to Spain or anywhere abroad was when I was about 18.
Really? And
that was with my mother and father. And we went to Benidorm, which had nothing there. Right. Just about 3 hotels. And it was a beautiful beach and quiet place,
Yeah.
I haven't been back since.
You can get egg and chips down in Barry, can't you? So you don't need to go to Benidorm.
I know. But so we used to do things like that. Or like we'd go for days with the car. We'd go Porthcawl one day. We'd go to the Gower another day. Or we'd go, because people didn't have the money in those days to go off flying off everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know, what did you used to do for your holiday?
Well, yeah, and it's funny you mentioned going off for a day trip because my mum, as you know, passed away a couple of weeks ago. So we've been going through lots of old pictures. And so my mum and dad were very close with my grandparents. So that's mum and dad, and 3 boys, right? So that's 7 of us.
Yeah.
And they had a Ford Poplar. 2-door Ford Poplar, right?
I remember those, yeah.
We got pictures of us out for day trips. All 7 of us must have been in the car. I mean,
unbelievable.
Well, you wouldn't get away with it now. I'm not sure how we actually all fitted in because my grandmother always said was 4 foot tall and 5 foot wide, so she would have taken up the bench seat at the back on her own.
Well, there were no seat belts either, if I remember that.
Yeah.
See, we were lucky because my grandfather always had a car because he'd made a few bob because he used to run a big hotel in Cardiff.
Oh, right.
So he'd bought himself, when he retired, a Sunbeam Talbot.
Oh, lovely.
And it was £1,000 or just under, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? But it was a beautiful car.
Yeah.
And we used to borrow it because my father didn't have a car. So we'd go off in the Sunbeam Talbot. And I remember once he turned up at my house. Well, father had a pub in Caerphilly at the time. And so he turned up and he said, I'm going to Cornwall for my holidays, he said. So my granny died. Right. He said, John, get in the car. I'm taking you. I was about 10, I suppose. Yeah. Off we went to Cornwall. He drove all the way before the bridge.
Yeah.
Had to go around Gloucester. He wouldn't go across on the ferry because he didn't want to ruin his car, he said. So we went all the way down to, where did we go? Falmouth.
Oh, well, there's a long way.
We stayed on a farm. And it was fantastic. They had a daughter in the farm. And she was about my age, so we palled up. So we were about 10 or 12. And I'd help with, getting the cows in and things and riding the cart horse. It was to me, it was fantastic.
Yeah. And you didn't have a Game Boy or a Nintendo with you, did you?
No, didn't have that. I had a penknife. That was it.
Penknife and a 12-year-old little girl to be friends with. So things like day trips. Now then, we used to go for picnics. I remember we used to have tomato sandwiches. I hated tomato sandwiches. I only liked ham. But you'd get there wherever you got, and the blanket would go down and everybody'd come out and there'd be flasks of tea. Get a flask out?
Oh, yeah, you got a flask of tea. But see, did you remember they used to have a little primer stove as well and make the tea on the beach?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And now they got these little mini barbecue things they put on the beach now, don't they?
It's like they got upstairs and downstairs, some of these now. Did you ever do, I mean, obviously we come from different sides of the tracks in some ways. Did you ever do the Sunday school outing?
Yeah, went on the Sunday school outing.
What chapel was it?
And the Whitsun Treat.
Whitsun Treat. Oh.
Go off on it was amazing. We used to do things like that. But, that was what you did then. That was a great, and you'd go off with your packet of sandwiches, and that would be it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or we'd go up the mountain with the dogs, and that, we just had more freedom somehow. I don't know. It seems much more, I don't know, worked out today. I don't know what you think, but I mean, perhaps it's because of the publicity. People are frightened now of anything happening to their kids.
Yeah.
In the old days, we didn't have phones. We didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
You went off in the morning, and you probably did the same, and came back at 5 o'clock, and nobody said anything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right then, the Sunday school outing. So we always used to go from Phillip Street Gospel Hall in Manstilton to Llanstefan.
Wow.
We used to go to the Royal British Legion Hall, in brackets, Kindly Lent. So we used to, so, the morning we get there, we pack all the stuff. We go into the attic of the chapel, we'd bring down all the wickets and the china eggs for the egg and spoon race, all the sacks. Then while all the ladies were in the kitchens, making sure they had all the loaves of bread and the bottles of pop, and they're all gone. There'd be two coaches or maybe a double decker, depending, because it was a big trip for the whole street. Everybody turned up. Even if you didn't go to chapel, you could still come on the Sunday school outing. And you'd get there then, and we'd all head down to the beach, hundreds of kids, whilst the ladies in the kitchens would butter all the bread, make all the sandwiches, get the cake out and all of that, and we'd have a great time.
Community.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I remember the miners' holidays fortnight.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Oh, well, no, I didn't experience it, but tell me what it was like.
Well, they all went to Checo Bay. Right? So my father's barmaid, she was going down. She had a caravan, so she says, and she had 2 kids.
Right.
She said, does John want to come with the kids? So I went down for 2 weeks in this caravan, miners' fortnight. And they all used to go, like the whole street would say from my stake or Abercumber, wherever they're from, they'd all diverge on Porthcawl. And it was a great crack, I loved it. And running about with no shoes on for 2 weeks. Yeah. And when I had to put my shoes back on, I couldn't put them on. My feet had gone all hard from running about on the sand.
Now, I know Owen Money does 20 minutes on this, but what about your bathers? Was it a knitted bather?
Oh, listen, I had to get a new one because mine had a hole in the knee. That's a Stan Stennett joke. But my mother did knit me a bathing costume.
Of course she did.
I remember when I was up in Scotland, I think it was, and then you get it wet and it'd be all hanging down between your knees.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, goodness me.
So obviously, go on.
No, how did your gig go the other night? I noticed the one in Swansea Grand.
Yeah, it was great. It was like Glastonbury. There were more people on the bill than Glastonbury. It was like, get them on, get them off, get them on, get them off. Yeah, it was great. It was great fun. Steve Balsamo, Mike Doyle was there. Mike did a bit of a turn. Rhea Jones came down. Lee Mingo. Oh, there was lots of people, and the Valley Rock Choir, which is about 120 ladies.
Talking about Rhea, I did a big concert in the Swansea Grand years ago. It was a charity for Bob Champion, the guy that...
Oh, the horses.
He had prostate cancer, and it was to raise money for that. Yeah. And again, everybody was on the bill. There was Ruth Marrick on the bill. Yeah. There was Catherine Zeta, who nobody knew who she was, and she was with Rhea, and they did a little double act, a bit of song and dance. Yeah. And I remember Rhea introducing me, this is my friend Catherine. I said, hello, Catherine. Right? And then years later, I meet her at the BBC, and she was with... Carl Francis.
Right, the director. Yeah.
And Carl says, do you know John? She said, yes. She said, I did a show with him in Swansea Grand. And she remembered,
I saw once in the foyer of the BBC, and so we know the family, and we'd done a radio program, a couple of things together, and she had big dark glasses on, and she was in the corner, and I thought, well, she's from Mumbles. So I thought, I said, hi, Catherine, it's Mal Pope from Swansea. She got up and gave me a massive hug and a kiss, right? Yeah. And so, I mean, obviously these things, rumours travel around, don't they? So I must admit, I got up to the office afterwards, said goodbye, got up to the office, I phoned everybody I knew. I said, look, if you hear any rumours about Catherine Jones hugging and kissing me in the foyer of the BBC, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true.
It's like when Dorothy Squires bumped into my own man when I was about 21. Yeah. We were walking down Water Street in London. Right? And who's coming towards us? But Roger Moore and Dorothy Squires. And she's got the mink coat and the glasses. And she grabs hold of my man and gives him a big wet kiss. she says to Roger, she said, see him? I knew him when I had big boobs and straw in my hair, she said. They don't forget, you see. We tend to think people, because they become big stars, they forget. Most of them don't forget.
No.
But they may choose to forget, but they never really forget.
Yeah. So back to holidays now then. So when your kids were growing up, obviously you were travelling and doing stuff. Did you manage to book holidays, or did they follow in the tradition and go to wherever you were on summer season?
Well, yeah, they did that always. When I was in Jersey, I would bring the kids over. And when I was still with my first wife, I used to do shows in Malta in the Dragonard Hotel. So they'd come and have 2 weeks holidays.
Great.
So it was like a holiday. I'd have to work, but I mean, you know how we work. Mal, we enjoy it. So we go on in the night and do half an hour and we come off.
Yeah. But it's hard work, Johnny. It's hard. It is hard. No, just in case anybody's listening now thinking it's a bit of a doddle.
Yeah, so you've got to keep your wits about it. And you can't. Yeah, not only that, you've got to be careful you don't overdo it because your voice will go if you get tired. You can't sing.
Yeah. We used to go to Poppet Sands.
Where's that?
Poppet Sands is near St Dogmell's. It's near Cardigan. So,
right.
So we must have gone there for a day trip once and then seen the caravans along the front. So my dad went into the local shop. Mrs. Roberts had the camp shop. And when I say camp shop, it didn't sell pink, tassels on the shop for the
camping gear, yeah.
And next year we came back and we went there. I think we must have gone there for 4 or 5 years, it was the days of, well, obviously no TV. Did it have electricity? I don't know. I think it was probably all gas. You'd come in the night. You'd been out on the beach all day in the rain
you have the little gas mantles. That's it.
I love that.
Well, we used to go, as I said, we used to keep going back to Weymouth. My father loved it because he'd been there for the summer season. Yeah. And we met these people, a guy called Billy Bugler. And that was his real name.
Really?
And it was and his brother was Tony Bugler. And they owned the boats and they were on the beach, like boats and canoes.
Right.
And he'd there with his sailor's cap on and his beard, he'd go, "Boat, sir, canoe, lovely on the water today." And we loved it. And I tell you what, I still like Weymouth. It's got a wonderful feel, like a Victoriana place, It's got a beautiful beach, white sand, the water's clear. Yeah. It's just great for kids. Yeah. Great for kids.
Okay, so if you're on holiday with a family and you've got a couple of kids, everybody gets a day, don't they, to say, right, what are we going to do today? Did you have that? I think mine was always pony trekking.
Well, as soon as we got to a town, my old man would always book the theatre for the summer show. Oh. Because there was always a summer show everywhere, wasn't there? Yeah. Torquay, Bournemouth. So first thing you do, who's on this week? Oh, it's so-and-so, right. We'll have Benny Hill. I remember Benny Hill being on in Weymouth. So we bought the tickets to go and see the show. And then we went to see one with Morecambe and Wise. I was about 17, I think.
Goodness me.
And Morecambe and Wise were top of the bill. And a friend of my father's, Gladys Morgan. Do you ever remember Gladys Morgan?
The Welsh comedian.
Yeah, she was on the bill as well, you see. So she'd worked with my father. So she went on the first half and Morecambe and Wise the second half. They couldn't follow her. Yeah. She pulled the place apart because she was so funny. And they were like, they couldn't follow her. So it was a bit embarrassing. Anyway, we went round to see them afterwards and we had a good it was good seeing all the old pros that my father knew, Yeah,
of course. No, I suppose you had to keep in touch. If you'd left the business, it was a good way of keeping in touch with them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Even when we had the pub, you see, because you had a pub, the BBC Wallers had come up to the pub because they knew my father. So there was always some characters turning up,
Fantastic. So the holiday that you've just been on, now you told me beforehand you had a couple of goals that you had set because you had the kids with you. You were going to teach them to swim, weren't you?
We were, and what happened was the little one, who's 4, she didn't learn to swim. But she's got no fear. She had the armbands and she'd jump off the top, and come down the slide like a lunatic. But the other one, 8-year-old, she actually learned to swim. We bought her a snorkel because she wanted to snorkel in the sea.
Nice.
And, when they've got their face covered, they swim, don't they? Because they're not frightened they're going to drown, okay? Yeah. I said, you've got to take it off now, you've got to try and swim. Anyway, I got a video of her now, swimming, doing over 5 or 6 strokes. I'll send it to you.
Fantastic.
And you can put it on the show.
Fantastic.
Now she knows how to do it, she can improve upon it.
Fantastic. And the food and everything was nice hotel, everybody happy?
Yeah. We had bed and breakfast. We always like to eat out on holidays because that's part of the holiday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going to paella and this, that, and the other. And I practiced my Espanol. Hola, que enseñar. They were calling me Capitano.
Hey, El Capitan. I'm going to call you that from now on as well then. All right.
Capitano Judah.
We have had a bit of a family holiday. Took the kids and grandchildren to Centre Parks, which was lovely. Which one did you go to? We went to one in Longleat, and then we did the Longleat Park on the last, on the day before coming back. And great, we all came back with COVID.
Oh, no. She brought back more than you expected.
Absolutely. So,
When you say about Longleat, it reminds me of Bryn Phillips, my old friend, the comedian's joke about it. He said, my mother didn't love me as a kid. She used to take me to Longleat to see the lions, and she'd make me wear an antelope skin jacket with a chicken in each pocket. And a sign on my neck saying, all lions are stupid.
oh, good stuff.
Did you ever know Bryn Phillips?
I knew him, yeah, and his widow as well has been very friendly.
Great comic, Bryn.
Yeah.
He was really funny comic.
Yeah. Oh, great stuff. Well, I'm glad you had a nice holiday, and you've managed to top up your tan a bit as well while you're there. So
A little bit, yeah. I'm getting so brown now, they think I'm something else. They think I'm an Arab. Mind you, all the parts I ever get in when I'm acting, I get an Italian, a Spaniard, a Jewish bloke. I never get a Welshman. I'm a swarthy-looking type.
Swarthy-looking, good leading man, I think is what they call it. All right, well, it's goodbye from the Capitan.
That was goodbye from his. Adios from you.
Adios.
Adios.